The Whine and Cheese show is a Metaverse and NFT discussion and interview series brought to you by Metaverse Ventures Entertainment and host BEN68 and Morecheeese. Warning: the information and opinions within are solely the views of the individuals involved and contains content not suitable for anyone.
One is a wanker, one's slinging stunts, one's from Australia, one's from the Bronx.
Snack size.
Here we've got DBS enters Metaverse in tie-up with the Sandbox to create virtual better world. What's DBS? Some kind of banking thing?
Yes, I believe it's a bank in South Korea.
Singapore, it says. Singapore.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
guess.
Singapore. All right. Sorry. All right. So it's creating a metaverse virtual world that will allow users to experience building a better, more sustainable world. Dubbed DBS Better World, it will be accessible to members of the public, including non-DBS customers, for free. For this venture, Singapore's largest bank is partnering the Sandbox as an Ethereum-based decentralized virtual gaming world.
I'm sorry, that's just freaking hilarious. They wanted to create a better, more sustainable world, so they're going to name it DBS Better World. Like, you couldn't think outside the box a bit more? Wow.
I think what's also really interesting is a year ago when I joined, like when I became really aware of Web3, and the decision was made to pivot the Laughing Otter into a Web3 DAO kind of thing, and all the rage was we're gonna disrupt traditional banking and the way the world works and all this stuff. And I still believe in that. Like, I still think there's going to be lots of opportunities, but then all of these big boys are starting to partner with the exact same people that we all said that we were going to disrupt. So yes. What's really happening, I don't know.
People want to cash those checks.
Yeah, it's and that's you get sometimes I get run out of town at like blockchain events and that, and maybe it's because of my vintage. Just, I guess that's why you guys had me on your 50 show, because I'm actually over 50. So because of my vintage and kind of my years in the business world and just experience, that I'm sometimes a voice of reason that people don't want to hear. And when you speak out and you go, well, we can still do this, but don't be so naive that human instincts and human greed is just all of a sudden going to disappear, and we're all going to sit around and sit around a virtual fire singing Kumbaya, and it's all going to be wonderful. These banks and traditional institutions, they're powerful, and they're not going to lay down, and actually in a more positive way, to say they're seeing opportunity like the rest of us are seeing it. This is going to be, I'm predicting February, March of this year, this is going to be, this whole market's going to just bounce back with a vengeance, and people are seeing it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, but it's just interesting, just how this was inevitable.
Yeah. Well, when I first started buying crypto, like several of the Australian banks started blocking crypto purchases. So you weren't even allowed to buy it with your money. And now we've seen like one of the biggest banks in Australia, the ANZ Bank, now has launched its own cryptocurrency and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, they have they've taken the peel and they're all on board. And I think they'll flip to the whole NFT and Web3 space, because they've kind of been through all that with the crypto thing, and they kind of get it now. All the red-nosed bankers, they kind of get it, or they've been forced to get it by the young execs. I think they'll be all over this, like you say, really, really quickly.
Yeah, and there's enough executives who would be my age that who did grow up with an open mindset, like the old school who are 70, 80s, they're retiring faster than they're being replaced. So and even with just the internet and web 2 and everything, I thought those people who are in power now, they were 20 something when the dot-com boom hit, and they realized the power of change, so,
Absolutely.
and technology.
Now, this is interesting here. It says DBS will acquire a 3x3 plot of land in the Sandbox Metaverse, which will be developed with immersive elements such as buildings, plants, and animals. Now, Cheese, we've talked about this as going along with the whole Mark Cuban thing about what's the point of buying virtual real estate if you don't have a community? Well, if you look at the Sandbox Metaverse, it just looks like a big giant advertising space where people
Yes.
buy their little plot of land and they put their
Yes.
avatar on it. But is anybody actually doing anything? Their daily active or their monthly active users numbers, there's nothing. If you go there and enter these places, there's nobody there.
And I would love to take a peek at their Discord, because I know the Upland Discord, the community is amazing. You have people like onboarding, answering questions, creating their own businesses. Like, you're right. Every time we compare the two, Upland is like businesses for the people, and Sandbox and Decentraland are celebrities and big companies. What's this?
Yes.
DBS Chief Executive Mr. Gupta said biggest changes in the world of finance have been catalyzed by digital advancements over the last decade. In the coming decade, driven by new technologies such as artificial intelligence and blockchain, these shifts have the potential to be even more profound.
Yeah, and that's exactly what kind of Jeff was alluding to there. Now, I don't know if it's a mister.
Now,
I got to laugh at that quote, because there's no way in God's green earth did that guy say those words. that was written by a PR. That they should actually have a photo of the PR agent right beside that, or give credit to the marketing person who wrote that, because that is not a human a quote.
Nice.
That's
You got to stop making me laugh, Cheese. I got stitches in my lip. I'm going to rip me stitches.
well, all right. We have to remember also, Animoca has investments in both Upland and the Sandbox. So
Yep.
you don't know, maybe, like, because right now we're getting stuff in little by little, but it has utility. It's not just going to be a place you could go into and look around, or a nice looking fern outside, or like a cat meowing. Our Uplands, I have to stop saying our Uplands utilities are like the football stuff you could collect. You can make UPIX on the businesses, the properties that you can get dividends on, that you can mint, you can flip it, like you could start racing. You have businesses, meta ventures. So it's different than just walking around, but I would definitely like to see more businesses coming to Upland, but the same as with the businesses we currently have, where it includes the people.
Yeah, we've been speculating for a while that between all of these various metaverses, I would imagine there's going to be a system where there's portals where you can jump from one to the next and that sort of thing. And this kind of speaks to that as well. Metaverse technology, while still evolving, could also fundamentally change the way banks interact with customers and communities. So yeah, that's the key point there. The customers and the communities. That's what all of the Web3 space is kind of angling towards. Community, that sort of stuff. So given the speed of change, experimenting and learning by doing enables us to best test the potential of these various technologies. And it is a Mr. Gupta, you're right. Blah, 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 blah. And I think that's all fluff at the end. But yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We shall have to see. DBS is the first Singapore company to partner with the Sandbox and the first local bank to make a foray into the metaverse. HSBC in March, which we talked about, became the first global bank to partner with the Sandbox, which is a subsidiary of Hong Kong. Yeah, we talked about that back in the day. Yeah, I mean, it's again, it's one of those snowball situations. If this bank gets involved, then that bank will, and then the execs are saying, "Hang on a minute, we better take a closer look at this because that's where our customers are headed." So we shall see.
Well, that'll be the interesting thing, is whether or not, or which one of these companies survive beyond all the investment. Which ones, like when you're saying that they have almost 0 monthly active users. So if you're like, eventually big corporations will say, well, actually, you know, we've spent X amount of dollars on putting our logos and avatars all through this metaverse, but nobody's actually looking at, like, nobody's seeing them. We're not getting much of a return on investment. So there has to be some form of gamification or something built into these.
This Metatainment production is brought to you today by the Samurai Aquatics and Decor Metaventure. Scan that QR code or click that link in the description and dive yourself headfirst into the Samurai Aquatics Discord server to pleasure your peepers on our current and future range of outdoor decor.
Empire, samurai, riding on the dingo, flying through the sky. Cheese in the house, get off the drive. Hit you with the hairbrush, hit you with the knife. Evil empire, samurai, riding on the dingo, flying through the sky. Hit you with the knife, flying through the sky. Evil empire, samurai, riding on the dingo, flying through the sky. Cheese in the house, get off the drive. Hit you with the hairbrush, hit you with the knife. Evil empire, samurai, riding on the dingo, flying through the sky. Hit you with the knife, flying through the sky.
Time for wine and cheese. Wine and cheese. Time for wine and cheese. Wine and cheese. Time for wine and cheese. Wine and cheese. Time for wine and cheese.